All right, let's go through an example of using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic. As a reminder, whenever we are trying to determine the solutions, we're actually looking for the x-intercepts of the parabola that matches this quadratic equation. So here is our quadratic formula, to which you'll see that we need to identify the value of a, the value of b, and the value of c. So here I've got a, b, and c. I'm going to write them out though. A is 4, B is 8, and C is -3. To which then I can start plugging in my pieces. So I've got x is equal to negative b, so -8, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that would be 8 squared, minus 4ac, minus 4 times 4 times -3. And all of this is being divided by 2 times a is 4. Now I'm going to start simplifying. So I've got x is equal to -8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64. Minus, and then I've got 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times -3 is -48. Well, minus -48 is the same thing as plus 48. And all of this is being divided by 2 times 4 is 8. Next, I can say that 64 plus 48 is 112. I'm going to kind of move this way. So I've got x is equal to -8 plus or minus the square root of 112 divided by 8. My next step is to come up with factors of 112. I'm going to do that over here because I want to simplify this radical. Now, whenever I'm trying to come up with my factors for a number and I'm simplifying a radical, ideally I want factors where one of them is a perfect square and one of them cannot be reduced anymore. So I want a perfect square and a non-perfect square. So whenever I used my calculator and I typed in the number I need into my y equals 112 divided by x, and I go to the table, it'll give me all the factors. So I chose to use 16 times 7 because 16 is a perfect square and 7 cannot be reduced anymore. So this is the square root of 16 times the square root of 7, to which the square root of 16 is 4, so this is just 4 square root of 7. So I can come back over here, and I'm going to be replacing the square root of 112 with 4 square root of 7. So now I've got x is equal to -8 plus or minus 4 square root of 7. All of that is divided by 8. I have one more step when simplifying. I notice that -8, 4, and 8 all have a common factor. So I can actually simplify this a little bit more. All three of these can be divided by 4. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide all of these numbers by 4. Now, not my number under the radical, just all my numbers out front. So I'm dividing all of them by 4 because they're all divisible by 4. And that gives me x is equal to -8 divided by 4 is -2. Okay, plus or minus 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And I don't really have to write the 1 because anything times 1 is just itself. So now I just have the square root of 7. And then 8 divided by 4 is 2. So therefore the solutions would be -2 plus the square root of 7 divided by 2 and -2 minus the square root of 7 divided by 2.